Okay, we are in the middle of Shaar Aleph Parak Yud Beis, and thank you. And we're at a place where it gets not complicated, but very mechudash, if you ask me, something that I never realized, which we're going to get to in a moment. But just to review quickly, the neshama is divided up into three parts, which is nefesh, ruach, and neshama. We shouldn't just say the neshama. The neshama is very complicated, like the heart has, right ventricle, left ventricle. So the neshama also has nefesh from the bottom, meaning closest to our bodies. There's the nefesh, there's ruach, and then there's neshama, which is very spiritual. So, and it all goes under the catch-all phrase of neshama. And nefesh is closest to earth, if you will. So, when we talk about death, the difference between life and death, it's not really correct to say Yitzias HaNeshama. The neshama doesn't, it's Yitzias HaNefesh. In other words, there's a pirud, a separation that takes place from the guf to the neshama. And that separation takes place at the lowest part of the neshama, which is the nefesh. The neshama continues. Maybe even the guf continues, I don't know. But we would think I know more about the guf than about the neshama, but I don't know, you don't disappear when you die. Don't just disappear, you decompose. So you need that nefesh to keep you going, whatever. You need to take air in, and you need to have your blood circulate. That all happens with the nefesh. Hadam hu ha-nefesh. It goes so far as that even the dam is the nefesh. So that's all part of the spiritual. That's the borderline of the guf, and the neshama is the nefesh, and there's the ruach, and there's the neshama. And the parallel to that, the makbil, says the Nefesh Hachaim, is machshava, dibur, maisa. So what's fascinating about this is, so machshava, dibur, maisa is easier for us to understand, because everything we do can have to it an aspect of machshava, kavana, let's call it machshava, you're thinking about what you're doing. And then there can be an aspect of talking, dibur, which is more gashmi, and then there's maisa, you actually do it. So let's choose our mitzvah, tzedakah. So there's the machshava, I want to help this guy out. It's machshava. Just to have a machshava, you want to help this guy out, doesn't do much for the other guy, but it does make me into a good person. I have a good person, I really wish I could help that person out. What are you not helping about? Then there's the dibur. Dibur can be very chashuv in tzedakah, as an example. That if you talk with your tzedakah and you make the person feel good with your tzedakah, so that's even bigger than Shabbat. Then there's, of course, giving over sticking your hand in your pocket and taking out money. So that's the maisa. So it's machshava dibur maisa, which has to do with nefesh, ruach, neshama. And we learned that if you do one part of the mitzvah without the other part of the mitzvah, then you don't have it b'shleimus. So if you just have a machshava of doing a mitzvah, but it never comes to l'maisa, so then you didn't really do the mitzvah. You had a machshava to do the mitzvah. If you do the mitzvah actually without any machshava to it, you just do it by misasek, you just do it. So then it's also not b'shleimus. And the whole system that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created here has to do with the fact that he wanted every mitzvah, every bit of ruchnius, to have a gashmius handle. So therefore he created us. Therefore he created us in this world. If a person lives in this world and you're completely otherworldly, so then you haven't done it yet. You have to have the whole thing, machshava, dibur, and maisa.
Is there maisa and tefillah?
So tefillah is a thing of dibur, except for we paskin, they have to have akimas vasayim. So you have to move your lips we're the only ones who do that, only Jews. Move your lips when you read, otherwise you get punished.
Isn't that the dibur part of it?
No, that's the maisa. Apparently, that A ventriloquist speaking is also called dibur. But akimas v'sayim is the maisa. But the thing of the most important limud here is that, to quote FDR, you have to have your eyes on the stars but your feet on the ground. So the idea is that, like, yes, it's all about the neshama, but the neshama without tachlis doing something here, then you haven't done something here. So there's two types that are really not doing a mitzvah b'shleimus. A person who's extremely holy and otherworldly and doesn't do anything. So you eat, you make a bracha. So you have machshava, dibur, maisa. If you never eat, like you're a malach, you never eat, so then you don't have maisa. If you don't have maisa, then you didn't accomplish making the world holy, making a dira for HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'tachtonim. So it's a good thing to eat. This is the limud of Reb Shimon Bar Yochai when he came out of the cave. First he couldn't understand the union of maisa. What's the union of maisa? People running around, farming, what are they running around? I don't understand the union of maisa. So when he came back out of the cave a second time, then he saw the hadassim, people running with hadassim. Where are you running? What are you doing with these hadassim, right? What are you doing with myrtle branches? So they told him, Echad Keneged Shamar, Echad Keneged Zachar. So there was he saw in that apparently a shleimus of, wow, here's Machshava, Dibur, Maisa. Zachar is Rebbe Shabbos L'Kadshay, by the way, has to be B'Dibur. You have to make Kiddush. So like they're taking, it's Maisa, it's Dibur, and it's Machshava. That's B'Shleimus. So Rav Shimon Bar Yochai learned a lesson from the farmers, that it's got to be, the whole thing has got to be all there. So just Lamaisa. But it's another interest, I just want to throw this out there. Here, I want to mention this, that the Lashon of Chazal is particularly interesting because the Chazal say that what happens if you have a good machshava, like I really wanted to do something and it just doesn't work out for you.
Like picking up an hitchhiker.
Right. Or like the Vilna Gaon tried to come to Eretz Yisrael and couldn't get here. Okay, he tried. So the Gemara says on this kind of a thing, machshava tov mitztarif l'maisa. Such an interesting language. Machshava tova was there. So the Vilna Gaon, let's say, had a machshava tova to come to Eretz Yisrael. So it's like a maisa? No. It doesn't say it's like a maisa. He never got to Eretz Yisrael. But it's Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to come to Eretz Yisrael too. But it's mitztaref l'maisa. So mitztaref means it connects to a maisa. So what's the connection here? So here the Sfarim say, very interesting in mitztaref, once we understand that there's three parts to every action, now we can understand the union of machshava. It's not like you did it, you didn't do it. I did it b'machshava, maybe I even did it b'dibur, but I didn't do it l'maisa. So we understand, first of all, the whole union of tziruf. Tziruf means that the machshava, then it becomes like a train. My machshava attaches to my dibur attaches to my maisa, or the other way around. Maisa, dibur, and machshava. If you don't do it, you have the machshava and even the dibur, so what happens in maisa? It's mitztarif l'maisa. It connects to a maisa. What maisa? To do a maisa. So here the Gaon says is one of those things that both the Vilna Gaon and the Baal Shem Tov said the same thing. It was quoted by the Rebbe Reb Zusha, that mitztarif l'maisa means somebody else's maisa. Now think about this, that if somebody comes to Eretz Yisrael, let's say, take that example, somebody moves to Eretz Yisrael, makes Aliyah, with no kavanah for Kedusha. Like, I heard Tel Aviv is hot, so I want to go to Eretz Yisrael. So I'm completely shalol l'shma and going to Eretz Yisrael, right? So I have the Maisa, but my Achshav is completely wrong and my Dibur is horrible. So what's going on here? So the Machshava Tov, what happens? This Maisa Shaloi L'Shma hooks on to the Machshava Tova of the Vilna Gaon. Machshava Tova mitztarif l'maisa. So the Vilna Gaon made Aliyah of the 10,000 people, 10 million people that made Aliyah Shaloi L'Shma. And it's also an advantage of the other way around, right? That the person does something Shaloi L'Shma. Okay, I did it Shaloi L'Shma. So now HaKadosh Baruch Hu finds something in Shamayim of a Machshava Tova, which was never had a Maisa to it, and makes a shidduch between the Machshava and the Maisa.
This is only the
Tremendous Kiddush, right?
The Baal Machshava Tova gets the schar.
Well, they both do. Because ha b'loy ha. Well, one without the other doesn't work. So we become partners, mitzaref. So the Vilna Gaon becomes partners with some, who knows what, in Tel Aviv.
It says that in Nefesh Hachaim?
No. I'm telling you. It's the Baal Shem Tov says it. It's quoted to Rebbe Reb Zusha in his Maimarim Bereshis at the end of Sefer, and at the end of Noam Elimelech, you can find it. And the Vilna Gaon says it.
It doesn't need to be aimed at somebody, like
Hashem makes
my
shidduchim.
machshava to help a person go there. I didn't go, but I encourage someone else to go. I can understand. But if there's no connection between me and this person who goes lo lashma, why? Where's the midas adin involved?
Your interesting question, but Reb Tzadok says it a little bit differently. He says that if I, let's say I daven without kavanah, not let's say, I daven without kavanah, right? So I daven without kavanah, it's mitzaref to some place, one of my ancestors who had kavanah but never was able to daven for whatever reason.
In jail or something.
What kavanah he didn't daven? Which kavanah he didn't daven?
His kavanah to daven. He meant to daven. He wanted to daven. Couldn't daven. Wanted to daven. Couldn't daven. Died instead. So everything, nothing gets lost. Everything is a tziruf. I'm explaining only one thing: what the lashon of mitzaref is. But mitzaref otherwise doesn't make sense. You know what tziruf means in the world of, in modern Hebrew even, in the world of silversmithing.
Attach, That's attach.
Attach. When you weld two things together. Welding is not the word I'm looking for. When you actually put the two things and make them into one thing. What's it called? Like an
Merge.
Well,
silver. No, weld is
Meld.
weld is when you take two
Meld.
things and you attach them.
solder.
That's when you take two things and you attach them. There's a tziruf when you
Meld.
They're cured.
they put them together. Yeah, you can actually right.
Conglomerate.
See, I'm just saying, but tziruf is like if you take a piece of steel, so you can heat it up to a certain level, and then you can add an alloy, right? You can add chrome vanadium to your simple steel, and now it develops the properties of both things. So that's what tziruf means. You get the properties of the steel, which is strong, and the properties of the chrome vanadium, which is flexible. That's what I learned in high school. So that's when the two things can come together, and then you put it right away in cold water, and you freeze it in that place. Or another way, that's called tempered steel. So tempered steel is if you'll take something and you'll heat it up to a certain place where it's the flexibility exactly as you want it, and then you put it into oil. All the properties of the oil or the graphite go into the steel. Okay, it's my science lesson for today. So it's the same thing with machshava, dibur, and maisa, that the machshava is mitzaref. There's a tziruf here. It's an homogenation of the two things, that they become two things become one. So that's a fascinating idea. Now we get to the not, as I say, well, the last paragraph we said umemela, and therefore we can understand umemela. Misoirer umamshich gam olav or makiv me'akadusha ha'elyoina v'hu ha'masaya legamra. Another mechanism which takes place. When I think to do a mitzvah, I think to give tzedakah. I just find with myself a lot of times, like I have machshava. I'm going to give that person a lot of tzedakah. That doesn't materialize. Why doesn't it materialize? Not necessarily because, like you get a stroke in the middle or something. Just you change your mind. Like when it comes tachlis to give the money, it's a sure thing. It's one thing to pledge, and it's another thing to write the check, right? And another third thing to actually sign the check. There's different madregas. So there's a mechanism here. The mechanism he tells in this paragraph, that when I have a machshava to do a mitzvah, I've already, my machshava itself, created an or. Let me explain the or. That just Kabbalah 101, everybody's seen the chart of all the circles going, concentric circles. And through the middle comes an or makif. This is Arizal, page 1. Through the middle comes an or pashut. And there's an or pashut that goes through, and there's an or pashut there's an or pashut that goes through, and then there's an or pashut which is called an or hamakiv. Goes through and it goes around. It makes no difference for our purposes. That or is what everything is created from. So, I don't know, the essence of creation, it's all about that or pashut, which came forth from Hashem. It's not Hashem. It's not Hashem. That or is not Hashem. It shouldn't be mistaken for Hashem. We don't know what Hashem is. I don't know what that is. But it's an or. And an or is coming through, and it's making creation what it is. When I do have a machshava of doing a mitzvah, I'm mosiv or. I put more or in there. That or comes on me, and possibly on the entire world. It says Reb Chaim Volozhin, look at such a deep thing. Misoyer mamshekam olav or makiv me'akedusha el yarna v'hu Messiah l'gamrei. What gives me the strength to be able to actually give the tzedakah? Because I created or with my machshava. And if I created or with my machshava, the or comes upon me. Now I'm a different person with this or. Now I'm a person that can give away the money. So it's the only reason I have the koach to finish the act of doing a mitzvah is because I had the machshava. That's the way it works. So that's why it's so important to do machshava, dibur, maisa, because I'm getting koach to do the maisa. So how does a person do the maisa shalei l'shma? Where does he get his koach from? Imkein. How can you possibly get koach if you didn't have machshava? So if he does it with wrong machshava, shaloi l'shma, the answer is he's not getting his koach from or, he's getting his koach from choshech. He's getting his koach from sitra achra, from klipos. All the negative things that we hear about. That's where you're getting koach, which, by the way, is a stronger koach than the koach of the or. So you can see a person doing a lot of things shalol l'shma. You can physically do something. You can do. Sometimes it's a stronger koach, like a person does puravu with a machshava of kedusha, or you could do puravu or whatever with a machshava of ra. So you're getting the maisa is the same, but it's coming through a different channel. And since it's coming through a different channel, it's coming from a different place. You can't do a maisa without a koach milamala. But the koach milamala is coming from a negative place instead of from a positive place. So what happens? It's not that you turn green or something because I'm getting my energy from a different place. Excuse me, blue. it's that it's not any longer hooked up to the or hamakif. I'm not part of that cycle. I'm not part of that cycle any longer. And on the contrary, I've abused it and I've given koach someplace else. It's just important to understand that when I'm speaking divrei Torah l'shma, so I'm getting koach to do so from a or hamakiv. If I in the middle of the sentence switch to start talking lashon hara or stam shtus, I'm getting my koach from a completely different place, and that's not less of a koach; it is a different koach. That's what tumah is. That's what the word tumah means: getting its koach from a negative source. That's what it means.
Nothing explains what the source of the machshava is, though. That's all.
Because that's higher than us. It's not something we need to know.
We don't know how we get it.
It's coming from Hashem.
But we can develop optimism. I mean, optimism can bring in either negative or positive. The machshava is going to affect our behavior. So a person can generate optimism by saying, I need to be more...
Whatever you generate, that's what's going to come into your mindset.
Yeah.
But you got to make... It doesn't mean that you can't... You still have to take it from a kosher source. You see, I just want to... I'll tell you what I'm explaining, what Reb Chaim Volozhin himself explains a little later. Avodah Zarah, let's say, is it's not Avodah Zarah, worshipping Avodah Zarah. You see in Tanakh, they had a tremendous koach. In Yeshayahu tells a story that Yeshayahu admonished the women in particular in that paragraph Beis or whatever in Yeshayahu. He admonished the women. He said, "You have to stop worshiping Avodah Zarah. There's going to be a Chorban Beis Hamikdash." Now, what's he saying? He's saying that when you're doing something with kedusha, so the Beis Hamikdash can stand, because you're bringing an or into the Beis Hamikdash. But if you're doing something from the makar of Tumah, Avodah Zarah, the Beis HaMikdash is not going to stand. That's what Yeshayahu was going to say. From what will it stand? From what will this Beis HaMikdash stand? Where is it? What's it plugged into? What's it plugged into? It's plugged into the wrong source. What did the women say to him in Yeshayahu? No way, we're not going to stop worshiping Avodah Zarah. Last time we listened to you, it says this in Tanakh, I'm not making this up. I couldn't make it up. Last time we listened to you, Yeshayahu, and we stopped worshiping Avodah Zarah, our crops died, the trees bore no fruit, and we went into famine state. We're not going to stop worshiping Avodah Zarah. Don't do this to us. We listened to you once and we had charata. So, what was this conversation here? What they're saying is that there is a koach to Avodah Zarah, just the wrong koach. It's just the wrong koach. It's the koach of Bilam. Bilam also had a source of nevuah. It was a koach. It's interesting, just agav, I don't want to go there, but like when Bilam said the things that we do hold of, like Matovu, Halacha, Yaakov, Mishkanasecha, Yisrael, did that come from a makor of Kedusha, or did it come from a makor of Tumah? Maybe. I don't know. But
Hashem was Mahapik, right? He was Mahapik, the source.
Right, but when he was, how do you know he was Mahapik, the source?
Right.
Maybe he's saying that I used the bad source for you too. Like we have something, Matovo Allah Yaakov, so let's talk about shuls, something, there's something, Kaddish, and so it's funny about it, But anyways, this is the way the cycle works. So umemela Messiah mamshach amalav or makiv me'akdusha el yarnavu hua Messiah legamra. The koach that we get to finish a mitzvah is the machshava that we put into it. Not because I gave this great thought and therefore I'm doing it, but the machshava creates an or, and then the or comes upon me and makes me into a different person where I can now do the mitzvah. And now what happens now? Va'acher gamrei mitzvah. Listen to this. Now that I've finished the mitzvah, right? I gave the tzedakah. So Hakadusha V'ha'or, all that or that I created with Machshava, with Dibur, Maisa, real or, what happens to it? Mistalik L'Sharshai. It goes back into the cycle, and now I have got even a bigger or coming on me the next time. Mitzvah Gereres Mitzvah. Now I have even more koach. So whenever I'm Mosif or in this world, the or goes back up to the Shirish. I apologize that I can't say that I really understand that. I'm just saying what the mechanism. This is the way it works on a schematic. That the or that I've created goes back to its shirish, and now the shirish is raining down upon me with even more or than I had before. So it builds on itself, and that's how. Acher Gemarayam Mitzvah Kedush or Mistalik L'Sharsha, it goes back to its shirish. So therefore, what? Now this is the key sentence. V'zehu inyan schar ha'olam haba. That's what Schar Olam Haba is. Not what Olam Haba is, but Schar Olam Haba. Now we have a lot of discussion here if Olam Haba refers to Yemos HaMashiach by Tchias HaMesim, or if it refers to heaven. Like, is it there now? Right now. So let's leave that question open for a little bit, because it's something that you have to be choker. But v'zehu inyan schar olam haba. What is schar olam haba? Hu ma'aseh yedei ha'adam atzma. It's the ma'asim of the person. She'acher predas nafshay mehaguf. That when the nefesh separates from the guf, i.e., death, right? Hu ha'oila lehisadenu laspia nafshay. Where does my nefesh go? My nefesh separated from the guf. So now my nefesh is back at its shorish. Obviously, because it's connected to the shorish, right? Nefesh, ruach, neshama, guf. So the guf is like goofy, right? The guf is just here. It's here and it's gone. But it's the nefesh which is important. So when this train detaches from the guf, so where does it go? It goes back to its source. Now, if I've with my goof created a lot of or, so now my nefesh and ruach and neshama are all in a place of great or, because I've created that or because mine was a goof. If you don't have a goof, you'll never create that or. It's a big chesed that we have a goof. But now, according to whatever I've created, that's my schar. That's where I get to live. It's like a retirement package. It's not, meaning, let's understand something, or try to, something very simple. It's not that, according to this, I didn't know this. This is not, wie the Rebbe gelernt in Cheder. This is different. It's not that there's a pot of gold in Shemayim, and if you do a lot of mitzvahs, you get to have that pot of gold. That's not the pshat. The pshat is, according to this, is that as Kol Zman I'm alive, Imruchi Gviyasi Hashem Li V'Lo Ira. We say at the end of Adon Olam, right? Imruchi Gviyasi. If my ruach, that's my neshama, is hooked up with my goof, Hashem Li V'Lo Ira. I don't have to be afraid of anything. Okay, that's when I'm alive. I detach. So, like death is like the Indian of Misa, as they say in yeshivas. The Indian of Misa is actually quite liberating, in the sense that you've detached this heavy weight called life. None of us are looking forward to this, probably, unless you're something wrong with you, because it's the unknown, self-called self. But the truth is, like the goof is a schlep, You got to eat. You have to go to the bathroom. You have feelings. All these things are it's a drag. But so that's the goof.
Show us no feelings?
Mm-hmm. Not like that, not human feelings. So if the neshama detaches from the goof, so what happens to it? It goes to where it is, where it starts. It starts with the world of neshama. Over there is the Or Makif, and that's where all the light that I created, Kol Zman, that I was here in this world. So being in this world for the years that we're in this world is an opportunity to, and that's not the only thing you can do. You can also do things that are good for the world. But besides for all that, like you can do things to make the world a better place. That's probably more important than this. But one of the things that happened is that I have increased the illumination of the Or Hamakif, or the Or Pashut of the Bria, and that's where my neshama starts, and that's where I am, because I don't have the goof holding me away from it any longer.
What's this lotion lehis adein?
To enjoy Gan Eden. That's what Gan Eden is. Lehis adein, like a spa. From your nefesh up. What's tzachtzachos? That's a better question. What does it mean? Shining lights. Sichtzuach is to shine. V'hakoiches v'ha'ilomois hakadoshim nisvasvu v'nisrabu mimaisa toiva. Like, there's no place to get any olam haba if you were never an olam haza. There's nothing, right? There's nothing to fuel that olam haba. There's nothing to get an olam haba. Like you say, well, I was never born, so I'll just be an olam haba. No, then you're in a different thing. You're in the olam hanashamas, but you're not. There's no or there. It's dark. Isn't this a chiddush? You make your olam haba. The bed you make is the bed you sleep in.
So then how do we understand the very sensitive topic of infants or children?
Good question. Yeah. Mitzaref. The answer is you understand mitzaref. That sometimes there was only one small tikkun that a previous neshama had to make. In other words, you need to get to the union of Gilgulim to understand that. Not that I understand it, but you need to get to the union of Gilgulim. So if in order for the or to be complete for some tzaddik, there's just one thing that has to be mesukan. So let's say a baby's born, a baby is sick, people daven for it, boom, tikkun. You just turn on another light. Whatever, I'm not, who knows, I don't know. People give tzedakah, the schus is sick, and all kinds of things. Maybe the mother had to go through the Yisurim of giving birth, Yisurim. So whatever it is, I don't know, not God. But whatever it is. But the point is that he's not getting his own meisim, because you don't have meisim until you're bar mitzvah. That's when your meisim work. He's getting his own meisim. It's mitzvah. It's hard to the machshava divrei meisim. Once we understand the idea of tziruf, we can understand everything. More, well, v'zeu sha'amar Chazal. So famous Chazal in Avos. Kol Yisrael yesh lam chelik l'olam haba. It's really a mission in Sanhedrin. Kol Yisrael yesh lam chelik l'olam haba. What should it have said? Kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelek ba'olam haba. That's how you and I would have said it. Everybody has a chelek in olam haba. What's la'olam haba? What do you say, Benny? What's la'olam haba? What does it mean? Ba'olam haba. So if there would be the pot of gold in Shemayim, everybody knows there's a few coins over there that are yours. Kol Yisrael yesh, it's a reserve for you. Kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelek ba'olam haba. Don't worry, we've got a seat reserved for you in olam haba. Kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelek la'olam haba means that I have a pension fund in Shemayim that I can contribute to on a regular basis as long as I'm alive. Everybody knows, I say over all the time, the Vilna Gaon before he died was crying because he said in this world for a couple of kapishkas to buy some tzitzis, I'm able to get olam haba eternity. Means that's law olam haba. I'm able to, every time I give some tzedakah, I buy some tzitzis, I do something which is a mitzvah, I do a chesed, I'm creating an or in olam haba. So kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelek, which goes la olam haba. You're contributing to a spiritual pension. It's not something which is waiting for you upon retirement or death. It's not something that's waiting for you. It's something that you worked for all your life, right? Isn't that the way retirement works? You worked for it, you built it, you did it, now you have it.
Hopefully.
Depends who's president of the United States.
Yeah, right.
Just imagine the fun.
Supposed to work like that.
Kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelek la'olam haba v'lo yamru ba'olam haba. Shema shmai haya, if it would be ba'olam haba, the way we would learn it is, sha'olam haba hu muchan beis habriya, that there's such a thing, a place called olam haba, and it's an Indian v'davar la'atzmai, it's something farzich, right? It's its own thing. V'mitzdaka adam, and if you're a good guy, yitnu loy b'scharai chelek mimenu, take your portion of the gold. Aval emes, says Reb Chaim Volozhin, but that's not so. Sha'olam haba, your olam haba is not even there. There is no olam haba for Yosef or Yaakov or Moshe or Shmuel. There's no olam haba there. Aval emes sha'olam haba, maybe of some other tzaddik who made an olam haba with machshava, but stop, your olam haba is not there. Olam haba, who ma'aseh yedei adam atzmai. It's whatever you created. That's your olam haba. Shehirchi v'hoisef v'hiskin chelek la'atzmai. You're building your retirement home every time you do a mitzvah. But if you never do anything, then there's no olam haba there. L'kach Amar. That's why it says in the Mishnah, Shekol Yisrael yesh lahem l'chol echad chelek hakadusha v'ha'oros v'atzachtzachos shehiskin v'hoisef l'olam haba b'ma'asev shayva. By the way, I want to say it again. It's not that that's the only reason to do something good. I don't hold to that. The reason, because the real olam haba is not the holding center for neshamas. The real olam haba is Yemos HaMashiach, which we're close to, and Tikkun Olam, and we have to make the world a better place to live in, and what we do in this world stays in this world in that sense. But that's okay. I mean, in other words, it's not a steer of the two things. It stays in this world, and it's there for our children, grandchildren, and for us by Tchias HaMesim. That's what Kol Yisrael, that's the simple pshat, as Rashi says. Kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelek olam haba. You'll have a place there unless you mess up. You're chayv kares chas v'shalom. So you'll be there. You'll enjoy olam haba. But there's another mechanism which works at the same way, and that's the place of creation. That until the time of Tchias HaMesim, what happens to your neshama? So the neshama goes to the place where neshamas go. That's where neshamas live. And where neshamas live, how much or and sachzuach hanefesh is there? The amount that you created in this world. So there's really two things going on in parallel. It goes like this. Every time we do something. To do something just for, even where it says olam hazadobel leprosder olam haba, that's talking about tchias hamesim. It's not that this whole world is a hallway to heaven. That's talking about tchias hamesim. That's the world where it should be. The world the way it's meant to be, the world the way it would have been if not for the Chet of Adam Harishon. That's what Olam Haba is. But in the meantime, Avraham Avinu died 3,000 years ago. So where's his neshama? It's not here. So the answer is that it's together with the or that he created while he was in his life. So that's a different olam haba, so to speak, heaven.
Why did the
Olam
villain?
hanashamas.
Why did the villain go and cry? Olam haba, you get your goof back and you can do Maisa. Continue doing Maisa.
For the meantime. For the meantime. Because it's going to be hundreds of years or whatever, how many years, until his goof comes back and he's going to be in the olam haba, which is an olam haza. And then hamesim kamim im levushehem. The Gemara says with their clothes, with everything. I don't know. It's hard to understand. But but in the meantime, the neshama detaches. So two things are true. It's not a contradiction at all. Like if you believe that means amazing, doesn't mean there's no heaven.
The lesson of the Olam is Nela. That's what you're saying, that it doesn't exist until you
It's nice.
bring it out.
Very good motion. But here, one more paragraph is where it gets complicated. So far, it was simple.
Really?
How does Gehenna get into this? Is Gehenna a place? Kil Shainenu, just go to hell. Is it a place? Is it there? With devils and fire and stuff like that? Or like Olam Haba, is it part of Olam Haba, which is not there? So is it? So Olam Haba Gan Eden means the place where you get Eden is a light you created. So what's Gehenna? Al Pisa.
Darkness you created.
Same place.
All the life you waste if you didn't develop connection to Ruchnis, it could be the ultimate hell.
They say somebody who was at Bialik or somebody said, they said to a big Talmud Chacham, he said, we're going to the same place, place where you're going to sit and learn all day, and Nana Meziva Shchina. For me, that's hell. He said he can't imagine the same thing. But here we're saying something different. That Gehenna, V'chein Oynish HaGehenna, Gehinom, which is the correct way of saying it, but Gehinom. In Yonai Gamkein, Shahachet Atzmai Hu Onshai. This gets a little more complicated. Just like the mitzvah creates an or, so schar mitzvah means that I have more or, I'm in a beautiful illuminated place of clarity in Olam Haba. So over here, there's also something that one creates. This is schar v'onesh. There's also something that one creates when they do a chet. If you don't believe in schar v'onesh, you don't believe Jewish. You have to have onesh also. Chen ha'onesh ha'gehenim in yonai amkein sha'achet atzmai hu onshai. By Shekosov it says, a mishlei avinoisav yilkaduno es harosha uvechevle chatosai itomech. Okay? K'moshe nisbar, shekasher adam oisa achas in mitzvahs Hashem asher loy teosema. If a person does one of the mitzvahs which you shouldn't do, meaning he's over on a license, say, have some pork, ha'pegam v'ha'chorban nirsham chas v'sholom tekef lamala b'sharshay. Same place, exactly as Zaytan Yehuda says. Meaning that what you've done is you've diminished the or.
Nirsham b'sharsham. What does that mean?
It's registered in the shorish. So this is an unbelievable chiddush that he's saying. It doesn't sound orthodox. Because what he's saying here is, listen what he's saying, that every time you do a mitzvah, you've created an or. And you get to live in that or until Tchias HaMeisa. Every time you do an Aveira, you've diminished from that or. So now you've turned the lights down. So where am I living? Every time it's all the same thing. It's not heaven or hell, and it's not some kind of. There is such a thing as in between purgatory, kafakella type of things. We're not talking about that now. We're talking about like the place of the neshamas. How to just to use a language that I can use. How bright is it in Olam HaNeshamas where our neshama is going to be until the Tzechiyah? And the answer is, it's going to be as bright as our actions are. And every time I did a mitzvah, I'm mosivar. And every time I do an avera, I'm taking away from that. So it's you've got the dimmer switch in your hand over here.
And yet you've only got 1 degree of ore. You know what I'm saying? Either it's diluted or it's at its brightest.
It's the same place.
But I'm saying, where's the oynish? In other words, if you dilute it, and now this light, so to speak, is not as bright, so now you're in a diluted light. That's the oynish. That's the.
Isn't it the regret?
No, where's the oynish?
I mean, what kind of an onus is it to be in less or?
Unless you can compare where you are to what you could have had, there's no
You
oynish.
see, I don't know, but except that see, it says like by Bilam that it doesn't talk much about Onshim in Chazal. I don't know what Onshim are, but it says Bilam. So whenever he did a nevuah, one of his Tamei nevuahs. So just his whole life, not talking about the ones we know about in Chumash, the whole life of nevuah. So every time he did a nevuah, he did it while being motzi zara levatala. So this is the Gemara. So this is a case of using a koach of tumah. Using a koach of tumah. What does it mean, a koach of tumah? Something which should be used for kedusha, and he's using a koach of tumah to give him koach in this world. And the Gemara says, "What's his ownership?" And we're in Sanhedrin. That he's nidoin in a big tub of shichva zara rotachas. So it sounds kind of funny, right? You laugh. It's like, you just imagine Bilam. And it's hard to understand what Chazal were telling us over here. But in other words, that the koach, that the way I understand it is the koach. Forget about this imagery of the bathtub of Shechva Zara Levatal. Don't forget about it. But I'm saying, just think about the fact that if I do an avera, I've created a Gehenna. So it's a miyut or. But what is a miyut or? A miyut or is the ma'isa that I've done. It's the particular type of choshech that I brought into the picture.
What does tshuva fit into that?
Now I'll tell you something else before I get to tshuva. Shaar is better than oynish, obviously, but Shaar is forever, and oynish is until it's purified.
That's in the Olam
Hmm?
Oh, yes.
In Olam Haba.
How does it get purified?
That's the mushal of the fire that you always see. That meaning that until that the kilkel that you made in the world goes away, if it goes away, then there's this onish, and then it turns into light.
How does it fit into what I'm saying?
So he's going to explain it, but I'm just saying that there is a midah toiva meruba. We're going to explain it, but let's leave it like this for now. This complicated chiddush. I'm not b'chal I'm not a hellfire and brimstone guy. They talk too much about schar v'onish, but schar v'onish is part of Judaism. But what's I think when we're as children, we're taught that there's this place, there's that place. Even goyim are taught like this. There's maybe only goyim, maybe that's where it comes from. That there's this place, there's that place, and where do you want to go? And then you can joke about it. Okay, I'm going to go to heaven. I'm going to go to hell. I want to be with my friends. Like you could have all kinds of like. It's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the state of the neshama. We're talking about the state of the neshama, and it's obviously hard, if not impossible, for us to imagine what our neshama is like without our goof, because we only know it with our goof. But the state of the neshama when lifted from the goof, what is its state? So the answer goes back to its shurish, and the shurish could be a shurish of toiv, a shurish of ra, a shurish of mixture. I guess that most things that any of us do is a mixture of toiv and ra, right? And there's this mixture where and when we say light, whenever you say light refers to clarity. And there's nothing happier than clarity. Clarity. Just clarity. That's what light means. And darkness means what? Where am I going? What am I doing? What's the next thing that's going to happen? Who knows where this is going to take us? That's what darkness is. Light is clarity. When we're Yisurim in our life is a place of darkness. It's a place of darkness, So So again, just to sum up what we learned today, we have to go further. But the Gehenna, Gan Eden easier to understand. The Gehenna is not the place of, but the state of the neshama after it's pored min haguf, before it gets up in Tchias HaMesim. And by the way, this is another thing, that it doesn't get, meaning whatever that neshama is, whatever its state is, that's how it's going to get up. In ready or not, here we go. Right? That's how it gets up in Tchias HaMesim. So are you going to be a big macher by Tchias HaMesim, or are you going to be a small person by Tchias HaMesim? The Gemara says, Elam Hafach Reisi, sometimes it's not what we think it is. Like the big guddle here is a cotton there. The big cotton here is a little cotton here is a big guddle there. But there could be, everything could be upside down. We don't have a way to measure. But again, that's not talking about here, there. It's talking about there in Olam Haba. The state of our neshama then takes on a goof again, and it's a whole different. Then it goes low.
The imagery of learning in Olam Haba, is that after Mashiach, or is there also a learning? Because that requires a goof to be.
I don't know, because Benan and Miziv Hashchina doesn't say here. The Miziv Hashchina is here.
So they're Nen and Miziv Hashchina, but they're not proactive in learning.
Shemayim?
What in the Bialik, what was Gehem for him? That's the learning.
It's, right, it's allegory because it's not real learning. There's no Maisa in Olam Haba. There's going to be Maisa here.
So the pictures on the walls in the sukkah of all the Gedolim learning in Olam Haba, that's like.
You have such a picture?
I have such a picture.
Yeah.
I see them all over the place. Like they're sitting in Shemayim and learning Torah.
Possibly Shtuya.
Or Olam after Mashiach.
Olam Haba is whatever you create.
No longer
Surrounded by Max.
no longer proactive.
Are you understanding that the shorest